Hi, everyone. My name is Colin Wilcox with Extraordinary Concepts, and this is all forked up. This whole thing is all forked up. Trying to do a podcast by yourself, especially, is crazy. I'm new at this podcast thing, and this is my set. I hope you like it. Basically, it's we're going to be talking about war stories, restaurant war stories, and how crazy it is, and all the things that we have to go to make you guys a great meal, a great experience. So. I have over here, he's my guest host. His name is Goldfinger. He's worked with me for many years. He played the piano, and he also entertained guests. People would love to take the pictures with him. And you have anything to say over there, Goldfinger? No, not much. He's really mostly he's the brains of this operation, and I'm doing the one that doing all the talking. So anyway, I guess I'm going to give you an example of a war story. And this can be a war story for any business, but it always happens for the restaurants. And the thing about a restaurant, I always considered the restaurant hospitality industry as a branch of the military. And the reason so let me explain that. So the reason I think it's a branch of the military, it's actually a really good branch. Not that any of the other branches are bad, but it's the fun branch. And I would call it a branch of the military because you guys are civilians. When it's a restaurant person, then we have the civilians. And the civilians, when you're not working, we're working. When you're working, we're not working, and that kind of stuff. So our job, and that is to actually make you enjoy yourself. So that's our purpose. That's our job. We actually love doing that, is make you really feel good. But the things that we need to do to make that happen is just get more and more complicated, harder and harder. Food costs are going up. Everything's going up. And really the purpose of this podcast is so that you guys would kind of think before you review. Reviews really do matter. It really matters personally. It really hurts our heart when we have a bad review because it really is something that we really want to do, is to give you a great experience. And well, I mean, I can't say it's not in our control, because everything is our responsibility. But trust me, when you hear some of these war stories, you might be a little easier on us. And so that's my thing, is I just want everybody to sort of, kind of back off a little bit and kind of give us more 5-star ratings and give us, 4s. We'll even take 4s. Or if you have an issue, I remember, just the other day, it came over and said, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. I had a grilled cheese sandwich at the restaurant the other day with tomato. And I was just sitting there, and it's just like, it just was really bland. I mean, they used mozzarella cheese instead of American cheese, so there was no salt to it. So it came over and said, "How's everything?" And I'm like, "Oh, everything's good," but but it really didn't. It sucked, So I was just as guilty as anybody, not saying, "Hey, your grilled cheese really sucked," and I was thinking there'd be like an American cheese on there when you do a grilled cheese. But anyway, so that'd be an example. But I didn't go on there and make a review and say that grilled cheese sucks. They need a 1. Don't ever go there. And I am as guilty, just not saying to them. It was like, hey, I would have really liked grilled cheese. I'm eating, everything's okay. So it's really important, again, for us restaurant people to know what's going on. It's constantly challenging. So anyway, here's like a war story. These are like be examples of war stories. Now you work a shift. Now a shift is not like 9 to 5, or and you just can take a rest. There is no rests. You get into your restaurant, and if you're open at like 11:30, you're probably there at 9, sometimes 8, depending on what's going on. You get all your paperwork and all that kind of stuff, and so you work through your shift, and then you're checking out your staff sheets and seeing who's going to show up. And really, it's kind of like, I hope they show up. And that's it. There's I see other podcasts are like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, I'm just really hoping the employees show up. Let's work on that. And so anyway, and that's reality. There's a lot of that going on. So anyway, so you do your shift, you work hard, and the customers come in, and you're covered in grease, and you're covered in all this kind of stuff. And then one customer just flips you off, the other one wants to slap you, and they're all miserable. Not all guests. I mean, I'm just saying this can be a shift. So now you worked from 8 in the morning, and now it's 9 at night. And you got your night staff about to finish off, and you say, hey, I'll see you guys later. I'm going home, going to bed. You get home, you say hi to your kids, you love your kids, you hug your kids. It's like 11 o'clock by the time you actually get your head on the pillow and fall asleep, and now you're falling asleep, and everything's just wonderful, and you're like, oh, man, that was a long shift. So then you're just sitting here, and then you just get a phone call. You get a phone call at like 1 in the morning. You're like, oh, man, Like, what is this? You know, now you get a phone call and you're like, this could be a really big problem. Somebody hurt themselves. Excuse me. Somebody got in an accident. Whatever the case might be, you just kind of your brain just always on. You're never stopping when you're in the restaurant business. So this is something that happened to me. I was just sleeping. He says like they called me and said, "Colin, you know, it's like it's 1 in the morning. Just like there's a wicked bad leak in the ceiling. You know, just the water's kind of pouring down." I'm like, "Oh man!" So there's a leak, but there was snow. You know, so it's snow and slush and all that. I said, "Okay, well, it's probably just snow backed up. You know, so why don't you just go up on the roof, push the snow off that area, and then hopefully that will solve the problem and there won't be a leak." And so they said, "Okay, let's try that." So I go back to sleep. I'm like, "Okay, that's great. I solved the problem." You know, so here I am falling asleep and everything's. And the phone rings again. I'm like, "Oh man, what's going on?" Now this is going to be rolling into a Saturday. Where I have brunch starting at 8 in the morning, and all the crew's got to be in there. We got to get ready to go, and it's a really busy day the following morning. So whatever this is, I can't have that just sit as is. So I'm already like, okay, I'm just not going to sleep anymore. So then they say, "No, Colin, it's actually really bad, and we can't stop the leak." So I'm like, okay, well, I'm on my way in. So here I am just going through my brain, like, what could this possibly be? Why is it leaking so much, and so on. So now I get to the restaurant and I'm like, I'm looking down. I'm like, man, oh man. So, yeah, that's coming down pretty good. It's, I don't want to have to shut my restaurant down, but if I can't fix this leak, we're going to have to shut the restaurant down. It's like actually coming down pretty bad. It's not like I can put a bucket there. There's a leak or there's something going on here. So I got to go up on the roof and, up there, and it's freezing cold. It's just slush and snow. And it's like, I haven't slept. I had that whole long shift when nobody showed up to work, but the customers did. I love my customers. So anyway, so you get up on the roof and, and then you just hear, so there's a parapet. So the roof is like this, and there's a parapet. I guess that's what they call it. Another roof right here that holds this from falling forward. And then inside, it's just all enclosed to never to be open is sprinkler system. So I go up to there and I just hear, I'm like, what is that, man? Oh man, is not that what I think it is? I'm like, a pipe burst. So there's a pipe burst inside this wall, that actually has no access to it because this is not supposed to ever happen. And so now you go like, okay, man, okay, so now am I going to close for a whole Saturday, which could be like $20,000 or something like that? I mean, I need to have this thing done. I need to get it fixed. We got to get going. So I go in my truck, I grab a skill saw, just cut a giant hole, and there it is. Yeah, there's a leak. So now you got to call a sprinkler system. I got to shut the system down. You got to have it inspected, make sure you can go back up. You got to get a roofer to kind of fix the roof. I got to do all these things and just juggle all this stuff so I can possibly be open by 8 o'clock. So lo and behold, I did all that, got to hold all the people. Everybody just stood up. Everybody got their game on. I got all the people in way before they started their work day. We got it together and opened it up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, cheers to everybody that just was involved in that kind of stuff. But that's the stuff. Those are the stories that, restaurants, that's an example of a restaurant war story. That could be any kind of business war story. But like with the restaurants, we're open at 8. So if it's not like you can kind of wait, no, it's the weekend and we'll just have somebody fix it and we'll just get through it, not a problem. Or we can work around it. Like, no, you can't open if you have that kind of stuff going on in the restaurant. So this is just an example of one of my war stories. I got plenty. Goldfinger, he'll share some with you as well. But that's it. So that's today's war story. My name is Colin Wilcox. Again, with Extraordinary Concepts, we put extra in front of ordinary. If you're going to be a restaurant, you got to put your extra in front of ordinary in order to be extraordinary. That means anything you look at, do that. If you see it, the fork, if it can be here rather than like that, do that. It's just better for the customers and the guest experience and so on. So I love you guys. I love you guests. And please, I hope you can like, subscribe, do any of that stuff. This is all forked up. That situation was forked up. Me having Goldfinger over here talking to nothing. He's just not talking to anything. And me having all these cameras to me as a 58-year-old guy is all forked up. So I love you, and I hope to see you guys soon.